Welcome in. It's a Halloween edition of Putting for Dough here. Let's golf, right? Ben Rasa, I'm Eytan Shander. Chris is in the house producing, and you are all out there hanging. So whatever costume you have, whatever weird glove or ghoulish hand that you have prepared for tonight going out and trick-or-treating, or if it's days after that you happen to catch us as we record this each and every Monday when it drops here on the OddsShopper channel, you've already hit the thumbs up button and subscribed, right? With that ghoulish hand, you can reach out, right? Like Freddy Krueger, Ben, and have any one of those hands with the razor can easily get on the computer and hit a subscribe button.
Yeah, like Scary Movie 2. Take my little hand. Now, you know what I'm talking about? You can look that up after the show.
Chris Elliott?
Yeah, there you go. So that's why I said do the show. Happy Halloween. You didn't dress up.
The Wayans brothers are some of the more underrated geniuses
good stuff
when it comes to spoofing anything. And yeah,
that's some good stuff there.
Hard to make a sequel. Let's say, and that was pretty good.
You're not wrong. Listen, yeah, I'm feeling good. It's Halloween. Neither of us dressed up. It's all business here at OddsShopper.
You want me to dress up? I mean, I
got my doctor costume.
Yeah, where's your doctor costume?
I know. I was gonna do it, and then don't do that. I won't be able to do the show with that. That's too much.
This is an angry. I bought it as an angry baby. Does this look like an angry baby? That's what this was sold to me on Amazon as angry baby costume.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got duped. That's not good stuff. But I like this. I've been complaining about these tournaments.
Yes, you have been. Swing season. I
like Mayakoba. This is one of my favorite swing season events. Naturally, it's also a lot more exciting to do a show. Let's not bury the lead. Ooh, smells like money in here. Finally, we both connected last week, cashed some really good tickets. And with golf, it only takes a couple. That sustains us for a while. That was our best show, I think, ever.
Yeah, Seamus Power right away at the top there. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Well, assist to you, hockey assist, as you told me.
Right. And it was one of those, exactly, secondary assists there. TD, we saw Thomas come in number 2. So anybody who took that top 20 play was in there. And then again, this is a combination of both of us at work here, where through the show, and this is why you always watch the show and you hang with us throughout the show, because whatever we have ahead of time isn't always what we get out. And in this case, we built a Patrick Rogers 40-20 and that cashed. Yeah, right there on the show last week. So our guy, now the books have caught up to Patrick Rogers. So there's no more extreme value to take. But that's another one that the two of us we hit on the fly. That's when you know we're in the zone, or at least you're in the zone and I'm just hanging here, is when you're concocting ladders on the fly like that. I mean, we were taking heat check shots. Ashke Batia came inside the top 40 for you. Ben Martin was rolling. That was my one unfortunate. He melted really, really badly on the Sunday back 9. Bounced him. I thought he was going to grab a piece of the top 20, never mind the top 40, but still, all in all, what a great card. Yeah. Sometimes it just connects like that. A lot of times we gutter ball, we take the good with the bad, but it feels good to get into Mayakoba off a really nice win. Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to do, is transition from Bermuda to Mexico. It's going to be a little different from what you saw, despite having some names that might be familiar, including Seamus Power coming back, who probably be a little tired from Butterfield. But weather, we'll talk about a bunch of different things that you have to look at. Ben will explain the difference not only from last week to this week, but just in general here at Mayakoba. With that said, though, we're going to give you an opportunity to turn $10 into $200, and you don't really have to do much. In fact, we'll do the heavy lifting here for you. So if you're not at BetMGM for whatever reason, you have yet to sign up, you're at OddsShopper, but you're not shopping odds for whatever reason, again, because all of this is free, we'll give you an opportunity to change that. Click that link below. It will bring you to BetMGM. And when you get over to BetMGM, you sign up, you put your information in, it's painless, it's quick. Then you deposit $10, right? Don't worry about 1,000, risk-free 1,500, none of that. Just put $10 in and immediately put it. If you're watching this on Monday, for example, when this video drops, put it immediately on the Washington Wizards to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, right there. Right. This is not all homer. I know the Phillies are playing in the World Series, Ben. The Eagles are 7-0. The Union are in the finals, but I'm going to bring something back to reality. Put that 10 on the Wizards to beat the Sixers Monday night. And then all you need is a 3-pointer to hit. You have $200 right back into your account. See?
Or just bet the Sixers, because I disagree. I think the Sixers are going to win. You take them on the money line, same result. You'll get $200 once either of them hits a 3. That's the beauty of the bet.
We're both right.
We're both right.
Yes.
You're getting $200 whether you listen to Eytan or you listen to me. That's what it's all about at BetMGM. And then the really cherry on top, you take your $200, go bet some golf, go bet some football. You don't have to stick with NBA if it's not your sport. You get $200 in free bets. Spread it around, try to build the bankroll and change the nature of your betting.
Absolutely. You have a football bet that you've given out on Monday, your best bet. I have a couple, the 5 and 5. So you have plenty of we'll get to the Discord where you can hang with us as well. So a lot of things that we have to touch on here. Specifically, though, let's move to Mayakoba and then we'll talk about the top tier. This is a short course in Mexico. Weather is always a problem, and it's something that we have to factor in if it's going to be a problem, because like we talked, that's, I think, the main similarity, like we saw in Bermuda, was that if there's weather, this becomes a completely different course. But other than that, Riviera is not a difficult, if you're able to shot shape, let me get that out 5 times fast, and you're able to, really, I think from like 170 in, 160 in, if you're able to really pinpoint shorter shots on a shorter course, you're going to make putting exponentially easier for you. So where do you look overall before we start building our top tier on just the course and how to attack it?
Yeah, El Camaleon. What a course it is. We see it every year. It's short, slow greens, not punishing rough. We're in Mexico. It's got the resort vibe. It's nothing.
That's a good point, though. Real quick. Can I just jump in real quick? Because I know you're about to talk technically about it, but that's a really good point, because I think the reason why you see guys like Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, who we're going to talk about trying to beat, the reason why you see some big names here is because I think they have created this vacation, if you will, element to it. Just wanted to say that real quick, because I think it plays off where we're going from a betting standpoint.
100%. They're not luring top golfers that don't need to play with come down to Mexico and just grind through awful conditions for 4 days in the middle of your break. They're saying, come on down, Playa del Carmen. It's beautiful. You take your family, you have some fun, you play some relaxing resort golf, you make some money, you get some reps. That is 100% what they're trying to do here. That's what they want. And that's what this course kind of provides. The par 71, you've got attackable par 5s. Guys have gone low. Hovland, of course, dominates this course time and time again. I think that's how I approach it. Unless there's an outlier, I think scoring will be pretty easy.
Yeah, and let's look as we build the top tier here. It's all about fading Hovland. It's about building something that can beat Victor Hovland, Scotty Scheffler's to a lesser extent, right? Because he's going to be a big name with tons of expectation, I'm sure, money on him. But what I think would be interesting, and this is kind of to bridge what you were saying about the course itself and Victor Hovland, who has won 2 years in a row or 2 times in a row here, is what type of golfer is Victor Hovland, right? Like Victor Hovland's not going to a course and winning it 2 times in a row if it doesn't fit who Victor Hovland is, right? Like he's not going to win where he has to out-putt everybody in this particular event. So I think, and I wonder, do you start to look at that and say, yeah, there's always going to be an element of who's playing well right now and who just overall in the field is a good golfer, course fit, et cetera. But can you look at someone like Hovland when you start to build your top tier or even beyond and say, all right, I need somebody who I'm A, building somewhat sort of like Hovland, or B, I know that if something goes wrong, it didn't impact Hovland negatively like it will this guy too.
So I definitely think there's elements of that, but I also think he's a perfect example of why you don't want to overreact. So Victor Hovland, career at this tournament, miscut, first. Like after the first 2 years, it was like, oh, Hovland probably, he probably hates this course. He's got 2 miscuts in a row. Then he figured it out. I think the number one thing you can take away, Victor Hovland's biggest weakness is around the green game. Clearly, you can get up and down from here and you're not punished for errant approach shots. That has to be a thing for Victor Hovland to excel. But I also think I'm not going to be deterred if I have a guy or two that maybe hasn't fully figured it out at Mayakoba just yet. I think there's plenty of room for that. We're going to see that. But it is good to say, okay, Hovland, what does he do off the tee, around the green? I'm going to try to mirror some of that with my selections.
Where do we begin at the top?
Tony, Tony Finau, come on
Tony
now.
Tiger.
All right.
I had
He's
a feeling.
you know how it is. Hovering around 20 to 1. You can find 18 right there. Great player. Haven't seen him a ton, but that's fine. Knows what he's doing around this track. He's seen the track a lot. Hasn't been great. 16th miscut, 8th and 45th. That's good enough for me, though. He's got reps. 20 long off the tee. Well-rounded game. The biggest knock on Tony Finau was always he can't win. He can't win. Well, he started winning. He won back-to-back events last year during the stretch in the summer. So I think he can get this card started with a pretty safe play on Finau. He's significantly better odds than Hovland and Scheffler, and I'm not sure that he should be, to be honest.
This is, I mean, when you look at where he is top 10 last year, right? Top 5 Tony, we know. Top 10 here last year. This would be an opportunity, I think. Like, what are you getting for him at top 10? Because that's where I think
The number?
would be, yeah, like I would be inclined to almost ladder this in the sense of top 10 winner, right? Does that make sense? Like, I think Tony Finau is worth a first rung in a ladder bet top 10 in this event.
I mean, Tony Finau is not a boom bust type player where it's like all or nothing. Tony Finau burns the edges a lot when you bet him in outright. So I'm never going to push back on having, top 10s, top 20s. You're not going to get great money. Like for a top 20, Finau's minus 140. You're not buying a house off that. But at the same time, he's a guy, he peppers the top 20 all the time. And I think if he's in form at a course that he's seen, I'm really comfortable with him in any type of betting vertical.
It's not a bad parlay piece, by the way.
Yeah, he's just solid. Tony Finau is a solid player. He has no glaring weakness. He's seen the course. Again, these are like funky greens because we're in Mexico, a little different surface and whatnot. I'm pretty content just starting with him, pending you hit the right number, and I see the right number out there for the most part. I'm pretty good with that.
All right, let me round out the top here as we're trying to just beat Victor Hovland first and foremost, as you mentioned here, and Scheffler and some others. I don't love the value in a regular event, but I think you have to start factoring in when Billy Horschel is playing, because there are like 10 events every year in which he really likes, and which he shows up and he's super focused. We hit him on the show last year, that 65 to 1 shot. So I think this is one of those courses. This is one of those. Now he's high up on the list, and normally, and maybe it is because we're still in this season here, or maybe it is because people have caught up to the fact that when Horschel is playing a course that he is public about and has a history with, that he performs well. So I get it. Like he's going to be at that 16 to 1. He's going to be maybe 200 points, a little higher, just slightly higher than Tony Finau. So does that make sense, Ben? Where I'm sacrificing a little, but I think I'm sacrificing the Billy Horschel odds as opposed to just, oh, Billy Horschel played well last week, therefore his odds sacrifice. Like this is just, he knows this place and likes this place.
Yeah, and we did get to see him at the CJ Cup. It was electric with the approach, gained 6.5 strokes there. Off the tee was pretty bad again, but long term, it's not a glaring strength, but it's certainly not a glaring weakness. For a guy like him, proven winner on the PGA Tour, can handle a field like this easily. He's won bigger events than this. So the number's probably my biggest pushback. Not that I hate it. I just think there's some pretty good golfers grouped with him, but he would be one of the many guys you can consider in the second tier for sure.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, the thing. Maybe I should phrase it a different way. I don't think he's as mispriced because of course history, and he's look, there's another guy here that I'm really shocked did not make a top tier play for you, because he's A, playing good golf right now, and B, similar to Billy Horschel, has a strong connection as far as playing well here. And that's a man. Where is Grillo right now with you?
Yeah. So the problem with him, again, it's all a numbers game. I'm fine with looking to him. I just wasn't in love with the tag. Now I will say over at BetMGM, which is sponsoring the show, of course, that is the best number. I see 28 to 1 out there, and he's 40 to 1 right now on my screen at BetMGM. So I do like that, but
come on. That's a mid-range play, Ben, at 40 to 1.
Yeah, it's the mid-range though. Let's talk about the mid-range a little. It's perfect because Now, truth be told, when you hit an outright, you have a little extra, maybe I'll add him to the card because things are going good. But you are competing with the following names in the same range. Thomas Detry, who's playing fantastic golf. Alex Noren, that I think is a pretty good spot. Patrick Rogers, who you mentioned, maybe the books have caught up. He's 50 to 1 on BetMGM. He's 80 to 1 on DraftKings. So again, this speaks to the importance of shopping the numbers. Sometimes it's BetMGM, sometimes it's elsewhere. If I can get 80 to 1 on him, I'm pretty content with that. I like these guys a lot, though. You've got Detry and Noren in that same range. These are the types of names I think can really get in the hunt. I would love to get them all on the card this week, and I'm actually going to try to.
Grillo, by the way, is 125 plus 125 top 20. I don't want to understate how important it is, especially on a course that's not hard, but it's just different. This is a short course. And I mean, we're going to get to some longer shot guys. You already know out there, if you've been paying attention, where Ben's going to go when it comes to a short course, longer odds. But that's the type of guy, without giving him away, that's the type of guy that I think can master shot shaping, things along those lines. But at the same time, you can blast away like a Victor Hovland. If you know this course, it could be a little bit of a difference there. So we talked about that minus 140 earlier as far as Tony Finau, right? Top 20 play. I think Grillo at plus 125 also becomes a really strong look here. And he's not even on the card per se, but just as we talk through, I can't ignore for Horschel and Grillo. I guess I can't ignore their history here and how much they like it here. And look, I know that Grillo has struggled too, but so has Victor Hovland.
Yeah, I mean, Hovland's odds, you're really paying the course history tax.
Sure.
Grillo, you're paying it to probably some extent, but we have seen him a little bit. He looked good at Zozo. I'm fine with it. I just prefer Rogers, Noren, and Detry in the same range. You can make a pretty wide mid-range here if you wanted to. I know you have a name as well who can get crazy hot at times, sitting in this 50, 60 to 1 range.
Yeah, so Hoon Lee, I think KH Lee is probably how you're going to see him at most books here, is going to be somebody, and just looking up and trying to read up on whatever we can find as a course history. Wilmington came up a bunch, and we saw him play exceptionally well. You mentioned just being streaky. I know that it's not the same, but you've seen some other courses where he's played well, right? Just recently at, where we saw, I think the biggest thing for me though, is a number that I think I can get behind, that I liked more so. And I was a little surprised, to be honest, that, where you can see him at 60 to 1, 80 to 1, 50 to 1, 50 to 1 on BetMGM, 60, where you can shop around. I thought he'd be a little lower. I thought he would be kind of in that Seamus Power, Matt Kuchar range. So I was a little surprised at 60 to 1 that I could get him maybe 1,000 points higher.
Coming off a third place at CJ Cup, gained 7 with the approach.
CJ, that's what I meant. Sorry.
CJ Cup. He's someone that won on tour in 2021. And I thought that's pretty cool. He's been close. Not sure that'll ever happen. He won the same event the next year. Byron Nelson, 2 straight. Electric, gained across the board. The guy's made cuts in big time tournaments now. We've seen him in, he made the cut at the US Open last year. He can really play. KH Lee's a lot better than I thought. He could be a macro buy. He is someone that could take the next step. I'm not saying that happens and that means he wins Mayakoba here. But at the same time, there's a chance that KH Lee's significantly better than a lot of players in this field, and we just haven't fully discovered that yet.
Plus 230, top 20. Which I think,
it's not bad.
No, it's not terrible by any means. All right, let's start stretching out a little bit, and let me guess who you're going to on a short course with your long shot here.
Yeah, here we go. It's the same. It only takes one. I know that's
the only thing that changes is your clothing here when it comes to CT Pan. You know that,
even
right?
That's somewhat debatable. I keep a pretty tight rotation. All right, this guy's making cuts. CT Pan is finding the weekend at some of these bad tournaments. He hasn't done anything to really threaten, but again, if he's going to threaten, it's going to be at a track like this. I promise you, these are the type of events where he should thrive, and he's got plenty of experience. He's made the cut 5 straight times here. This is how he can stay on tour. These are the type of events, short, technical. He's got to fix the putter, and he just needs to be better, honestly, all around. But having said that, we see guys turn it around. He is a winner on the PGA Tour. and he won Heritage, which is such a similar type track, a lot easier here. But CT Pan 125 to 1, obviously, lesser as you get to top 20s, top 40s. He's someone that I think is worth a sprinkle.
Are you going to play him at all on any ladder, or are you just going to play him outright long shot? Because I'm with you. I think he has a lot of intrigue here.
Yeah, I mean, I think him, and I'll just get to my last pick and I'll pass
ahead.
the baton. Benyon is the same type. He's really good around the green. His putter comes and goes, and that's being generous. You're getting these guys triple digits, like upwards of 180 to 1 for him. I just think that's too much if you shop it. You're going to tell me I'm getting significant plus money all the way through the top 40s. I think these guys at least belong on the card. Outrights are a stretch, but almost 2 to 1 for both of their top 40 numbers. I mean, that's just really suspicious to me because these guys are proven on the PGA Tour they can make cuts and get in the mix.
I'm pretty surprised too. Like I know there's been inconsistencies there, but when we've seen him on,
yeah,
those are long odds for Benyon.
Really long.
And but you found it. I give you credit for that. You keep going back to both of these guys.
Yeah, but you only, again, when you're talking about odds like this, even for top 40s, you don't have to be right. It's all about break even point.
Yep.
When you're betting minus 110, we know the break even's, 52 and change or whatever. When you're betting it plus 175, I don't need to get this right that much. Give me a couple here and there. I'll take a loss for a win every time. You're coming out well ahead in those situations.
So how motivated do you think guys are, especially longer odds guys, to just, to gain points here, to put themselves in a position? We see a lot of world golf ranking points that you can get. We talked about this at the start of swing season, right? This is an opportunity for not only younger guys, newer guys to get their face on the map, but to stock some points here. So looking at someone like Harris English at 80 to 1, who is kind of straddling that line of like long mid-range to short longer shot, but he might pop up, Ben, as somebody who could be a little extra motivated here, take some risks and all, in a situation where he could certainly benefit from some extra world golf ranking points here.
Former winner. It was about a decade ago, but a former winner nonetheless. And Harris English, listen, he's got worlds of experience, multiple wins on tour, but he worked back from major injury last year. So every start that he's getting is important, whether it's just to get back in form for bigger and brighter things ahead, or to try to start his season better than it ended when he was hurt. 28th at Shriners, 40 at CJ Cup, last couple appearances. Now his off the tee game is virtually broken. He has to survive off the tee. If he can do that, I mean, Harris English has proven, I mean, the guy's, a long-term PGA Tour player, a very legitimate guy when healthy.
Shorter course too. So keep that in the back of your mind, right? And I think that helps in this spot. All right, let's look at this, the 40-20-10. We continue to do this. Profitable last week as we basically went full show Patrick Rogers 40-20-10, and you saw how that thing played out. Let me, you're going to jump in and start here, but I was a little surprised at the number. I just assumed I couldn't get the number that I found for my guy. So why don't you begin with our 40-20-10? The only rule is that the guy has to be plus money for top 40.
So I'm going to stick exactly what I did last week. This is the one thing I could complain about. Plus 250 for Ben Martin this week. He should have came in the top 40 at Bermuda. He was in it basically for about 65 holes, and he finished 49th. You're giving me over 2.5 to 1 here. I know that this is a slightly stronger field, but again, this is a guy, he makes his hay when he hangs around on tour. It's these type of courses. He's not at the US Open. He's not at Augusta. He's in swing season. He's getting starts when he can. And this is how he kind of hangs around. And he's played this event a bunch. 2.5 to 1 just for a top 40. I think Ben Martin can make another cut. If you make the cut at these places, there's not that many spots. I will take that every day of the week. Easier plays on the board, but that's a good number on Ben Martin.
Definitely did not have Ben Martin on my radar. And
I will stick with him until it cashes.
I appreciate you bringing him and forcing him on our radars. Thank you, sir.
He's someone I'll say I talked about. It's perfect. Before we duck on out here, and I want to hear your play. Yeah. I talked about him in our premium Discord with some people because we have a lot of people that are, they're not digging deep into these crazy swing season fields. And I said, that's the type of name that you're not going to hear when the PGA Tour really gets rolling. And there's guys that are looking to get points and finishes that you can put on the card during swing season. And that's one of the fun things about our premium access is getting that kind of conversation about guys that a lot of people just don't have time to dig into.
That's a good point. And shame on me. I wanted to get to my guy so fast, so quick that I blew through the third base coach telling me to hold up. And look what happened. I needed you to save me and bail me out here. So yeah, let's remind, I'll have a 40, 20, 10. There's not going to be much like Ben's guy. Shouldn't be much surprise with my guy. And the hint, of course, is that we cannot believe that we found him at even money to be top 40. But with that said, sign up below. We have a link for you. Ben just gave you a prime example of stuff that's happening on our premium insider Discord, our insider access that you're not getting on any of these videos. You're not getting even on our live show every Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern with Lofty and the two of us. These are catered bets. These are catered discussions. I mean, think about it. You have 24/7. It doesn't mean he's going to respond 24/7, but you have 24/7 access to Ben Rasa. So all the crazy, wacky shit that I come out with, all the normal, rational, grounded shit that Ben comes out with, and anything and everything in between, it doesn't matter if it's Yale football or if it's Michigan Live, right? Like whatever it is.
That was easy.
Yeah, easy money. Or Dallas, or the Dallas Mavericks Live, or
also easy.
God, what was something else? What was something? Oh, kicking props we're hitting on my page. Or regular, normal stuff you would expect to hit with Ben, and then outlandish shit that we're hitting with me. So you never know. You never know. We have you covered. And your first week's free.
100% free. Come on in at least for the week. If you don't stick around, sorry to see you go, but come in for the week at the very least for free.
At least. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, where are you going to close this out here?
Patrick Rogers. There's no surprise here, right? I mean, he's even, Ben, he's even money. He just made 4 straight cuts.
You don't have to sell me. I bet him outright. So
good.
It's not hard. Just keep playing them.
I mean, I don't understand how. Okay, let's look at this real quick. Give me 60 seconds at most. How is Patrick Rogers still even money for? I get it. Like wherever he is to finish top 10, you can make an argument. Although at 80-1, I mean, my God, that's just another honorable mention that we have to talk about. He's definitely going to be my long shot play, all et cetera, et cetera. But what am I missing that he's even money at least to be top 40 and not like minus 120 or something at this point?
No, I mean, I love that number. I like this play. I guess I would point to it's a step up in, it's a better field than last week. He's played 5 out of 6 weeks. It is some travel in there, but I've always believed that Patrick Rogers is a pretty solid player. He's starting to show it. 4 straight cuts, 3 inside the top 30, 3 straight. You need the top 40 here, even money. Doesn't mean he does it every time, but I firmly believe that's a good bet.
All right. I love it. Chris, appreciate you as always, sir. Thanks for producing. I'm sure you've got a trunk or treat to get to, like so many parents out there. We did ours over the weekend. Ben, just be thankful that you don't have a trunk or treat.
I am thankful for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you're thankful for a lot of things that I'm now stuck doing, like celebrate, like wearing a costume. It was 30 years since the last time I think I put a costume on, but now that I have a kid, I have to put a costume on.
It's a tough scene. What can I say?
Yeah, I know. You're laughing all the way to the bank. We'll see you, everybody.